washer. How's it going today? I just want to let you know we're going to start doing some more videos. Haven't done anything on the channel in a while, but I'm going to start breaking these things down. We're going to start doing some more videos. It's 2023. We got to start doing some more videos for you folks. So the one thing I want to talk about today, for you beginning TIG welders, getting a little frustrated, you've read some books, you've watched some videos, you went and bought a welder, and you're sitting out in your garage trying to make these welds, right? So first thing we got to talk about is how hard this process is sometimes, especially in comparison to the other processes. We got three things: the foot, our amperage control, our torch, and our filler metal that all have to come together. But what you need to think about is separating two things. Welding is science and skill, right? Welding process, it's not art, folks, it's science. We set things up right, the machine's set correct, we got the right tungsten, we got the right gas, we got the right amperage. All that stuff is the science part of it. What I want to talk about for a minute today, for you beginners especially that are getting a little frustrated, is that skill part. So we've got arc lengths and work angles and travel speeds and being able to see the weld and comfort and range of motion the way your hand moves. Think about this. You're asking your body to do something really difficult. You're asking your body to do something that's never done before. First is the physical dexterity of it. That in itself is hard to learn. But the point I want you to think about is when you're watching a weld and you've been told, watch that puddle. The puddle tells you everything. A puddle is a puddle is a puddle. It tells you everything. If you go too slow, it gets too big and out of control. If it's too cold, it stands up tall, it's not melted in. Here's what nobody ever talks about though, and that is the process of your eyeball watching that puddle, knowing what to watch for, and then reacting to it. And that's a really difficult thing to learn. When they say there's no substitute for hood time, you have to put your hood down and you have to weld. Well, that's true, but you have to do it correctly. You have to weld and practice correctly. You can practice for the next 20 years incorrectly. Where'd you get? So think about this. As you're a little bit frustrated, you want to go grab that MIG welder. Don't do it. You're asking your eyes to look at a puddle. That information, what that puddle's doing, comes back to your brain. Your brain has to process it, then send a signal to your hand, your other hand, or your foot, or all three of them at once. It's a very difficult thing for a lot of people. So don't get frustrated because it's a time thing. You know right now when you're welding that puddle is doing something incorrect. You feel your hand and that torch and it's turning and you're starting to pull that puddle down. Your brain's saying something's going wrong, but what you haven't developed yet is the speed at which your brain can process that. So your eyes see the puddle comes back into your brain has to tell your hands faster, slower, angle, arc length. And a lot of times by the time you figure it out, it's already too late and you lost the weld. The best welders are not robots, guys. The best welders are not that steady, but the best welders are super good they've developed the ability for their eye to see the puddle and their brain to react to it. They're doing a balancing act all the way across that weld because they're anticipating, and you'll get to the point where you anticipate what the puddle's going to do before it does it, and your hands just automatically react. So assuming your machine's set up correctly, your material's prepped correctly, you're comfortable, you can see well, because if you're not comfortable and you can't see well, you're wasting time. Start thinking about when you're making those welds about the speed that your brain reacts to move your hands to make that puddle do what you do. And a lot of it will become second nature. Most people that are experienced TIG welders, they don't even think about that stuff anymore. They are watching the puddle. They're watching what that puddle's doing, but they're not thinking about what their hands are doing to react to it. It's just happening. And that, my friends, takes hood time. So get out there and practice. Think about how fast those things need to happen, and the slightest little changes make the big difference in your welds. So keep an eye out for some new welds. Make some comments for me. I'll see you next time.